It was the summer of 2019, and I sat in the back of an ambulance across from an agitated, mentally disturbed homeless man, whom a passerby had called in due to his strange behavior. We'll call him Leo. We arrived to find a grisly-looking bearded man with deep creases in his forehead, a flannel shirt, dirty blue jeans, and mud-caked sneakers separating at the soles. He reeked of last night's alcohol and stale urine. He was something of an urban evangelist for the church of who knows what, and established his pulpit atop a concrete median in the middle of the road. Yelling at passing cars as he stumbled in and out of traffic, his wrist was adorned with a faded hospital ID bracelet, and he carried a plastic grocery bag filled with various odds and ends. Among these items was a crumpled discharge summary from his last hospital visit, dated yesterday, a half-consumed bottle of water, an empty glass liquor bottle, a dead smartphone with a shattered screen, a half-smoked box of Newports where he kept his $1.34 that I had better not steal, and a dirty pair of corduroys. These were likely all the possessions he owned in the world. As I pulled up in the ambulance with flashing lights, he ignored me and continued with his tirade, directing his ire toward the air or some invisible entity that was clearly getting under his skin. Pacing as briskly as the alcohol would allow, he paused every few steps to regain his balance and used the opportunity to wave his arms and yell something before continuing his journey. I called out to him, but he turned his back to me, waved me off, and muttered something under his breath, clearly not wanting to deal with this yet again. I jogged down to confront him and cut off his path. "How are you doing, sir? Is there something I can help with?" I asked. He looked confused, then angry. "Leave me alone, man." He lifted his heavy foot to try to get around me. I stepped into his path again. "You seem upset. Why don't you step up here in the ambulance with me and we can talk about it?"
"I can't find my brother. I need to find my brother,"
he slurred, becoming more agitated by my encroachment. "I'll tell you what. You step up in the truck with me and I'll take you to the hospital. We'll get you some dinner, a bed, and we'll see what we can do to find your brother," I reassured him. His face softened, and his rigid brow relaxed, revealing the hollow sadness of a broken man in his eyes. He hesitated for a moment. "Yeah, all right." The hard part was done. As we bumped down the road, I half listened to his ramblings, since not much of it made sense anyway. Occasionally, I asked him a pertinent question in an attempt to break his rambling loop and redirect him down a different thought path, but we always ended up right back at his rant. Occasionally, I nodded with an affirming, but after 3 or 4 laps around that track, he called me out. "You think I'm crazy?" "No, sir. I just have to get this report done," I lied. Satisfied with my answer, he continued with his story ad nauseum until the ambulance came to a halt, and mid-sentence, I hopped up and directed him out the side door. Puzzled and perhaps irritated by my interruption, he gave me a dirty look and questioned, "Where?" "At the hospital," I explained again. "Remember, we gotta find your brother?" Now he was intrigued. "How the fuck you know about my brother?" he said, forgetting that he had just spent 10 minutes telling me the incoherent story. "Come on, Leo, we'll sort all that out," I reassured him. Reluctant but now invested, he gathered his things and stepped out with me. The nurse stepped into the room casually with a "What's going on?" I didn't want to talk in front of him, fearing that if I told her the truth in his presence, I might exacerbate his presently calm demeanor, so I pushed her back out to give her the rundown. She nodded and put on her psych hat. With my job done, I got her to sign for the package, and I departed. I asked myself the question I'm certain we all ask ourselves when we encounter a crazy person. How did he get like this? What was the event that finally made him snap? Hardly anyone is born crazy. Everyone has a story, and generally, it is not a single event that leads them to their destination, but a series of events that exposes the cracks. Just as water floods into the crevices in the road and expands them over time, creating potholes and craters with each deep freeze, so too does repetitive stress, particularly when not dealt with in a healthy manner. These days, many folks fill those holes with alcohol and heroin, which, as I'm sure you can deduce, is anything but healthy. There are, of course, medical and psychological reasons for the mind to break, but that's a book for someone to speak on who's more qualified than some dumb